jumped out in the band. I saw the rock and roll. I saw the rock and roll.
Johnny, are things as important to people as they used to be? Do things mean the same, Johnny, to people? Yeah, you know, there seem to be things that were really important. Are we just getting old? Well, I don't know whether they do or not. That's a pretty personal sort of thing. A lot of things mean a lot of different things to different people.
Yeah, well, what's that?
I mean, back when we were a kid, we had Guy Fawkes night, Cracker night, whatever you wanted to call it, and that was a bloody big thing. There was Christmas, birthday, and Cracker night, and now that's just been done away with, just like that. Yeah, bonfire night we called it. There was bloody people coming everywhere, and a few kids lost their eyes.
To suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
It was a bloody big deal. Now that sort of thing just doesn't exist, and I don't think there's been anything to replace it.
There's a meaning crisis that people who don't feel comfortable talking about religion, and I'm not a religious person, I'm an atheist. The meaning of life has gone away. You can see an amazing band at a concert. It just doesn't mean what it used to mean. We have better guitarists right now than we've ever had. And they don't mean as much as they meant in the 70s when we were having idiotic arguments whether Clapton, Page, or Hendrix was the greatest guitarist of all time. I don't know what's going on with this.
And back in the day, music was a bloody big thing. I remember when we were growing up, it was the main thing that kids bloody thought about. Right, yeah. I mean, you could only buy vinyl records. You had to go to a bloody shop and browse through the whole bloody thing, or go straight to the one you knew was going to be the bloody one you bought. But now it's all just there, you don't care about it. Well, and it certainly doesn't seem to be a big bloody thing. Johnny, when you're younger, things seem to be so important to you. Music, I wouldn't reckon, for young people today in this digital age, certainly wouldn't be as big a thing as it used to be back in the 60s. But Johnny, wasn't music better way back in the 70s and 60s and that than the shit that's coming out now? And I have a theory about music. They say that music these days isn't as good as it used to be. Well, that's only bloody natural. Because in the 50s, rock and roll came along and it was completely new. And everybody said, Jesus, the old folks said that's terrible music. And the young kids, they loved it and loved it. The 50s went in. Loved it. The 50s went into the 60s and Jesus, yeah, well, music was much. And it just sort of went like, we'd never seen anything like the 60s before.
It's because do you know what digital dementia is?
Yeah.
You know, if you've used your phone from a really young age, it means you don't develop the neural pathways in order to be able to solve problems and do things for yourself when you're older, which is why when you're of a generation before smartphones came in, you know, you're able to read maps more easily, you're able to do mental arithmetic more easily, you're able to problem solve more easily because you had to. You know, when you used to go somewhere and you used to not know the way home, you used to have to remember landmarks and things like that. You don't have to do any of that anymore.
Right.
And it is the exact symptoms that you get when you're dementia is what young people, the exact pathways you lose when you've got dementia are the pathways that young people aren't developing because their mobile phones are now their crutches, which is why I would never give a child a smartphone.
But as people get older, Johnny, and you and I are getting older, there's no denying it, we can look back on things and remember how bloody important they were. Back then, Johnny, it was bloody better back then, surely. And then realise that we don't really give a fuck about them anymore, that they all just seem pretty bloody ordinary in retrospect.
Things are not attaching in the sense of meaning. The greatest quote, and I'm searching for it everywhere, somebody out there help me. There was a woman in a Doors documentary who said the words, "Back then we didn't realize it was just music." I can't tell you how profound that was to me. The idea was she later realized it was just music. But for a period of time, she was able to attach that feeling of meaning, of transcendence, of permanence, of something, to something she was experiencing at the Whiskey A Go-Go on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah, you know, there seem to be things that were really important, but you do look back on them and say, why the hell was I interested in that fucking shit? Oh, Jesus, I don't know about that.